chain we're going to be using today. It's a 525 55 link to fit the Yamaha MT-09. Now the first thing I always do is I will count the links in a chain. Of course you get two master links, one for a press and one for a clip, and some decals, which if you have a big scratch on your bike you can cover it up. But anyway, it's really important to me because I have gotten a chain that was one link too short in the past, and one link too short is the whole chain is useless. Now once you take this out of the package, you'll feel there's some flypaper like grease on this that's going to wind up on everything you touch, and there's nothing you can really do about it. It's very good grease, of course, and that's what's greasing inside the pins when you put the final pin on. But I do want to count the links, and I want to make sure I have 55 before I cut the chain off the bike. That's always cheap insurance. Now there is some useful information on the back of the box, but of course it's all in Italian, so I'm not sure that's going to be real valuable, but we've done this before. By the way, just kidding about that only being in Italian. It is in English underneath. But anyway, we did count the links. We do have 55. We have the correct master link that we're going to use, and we verified that it is a 525 chain. Now it's very important to get the right chain, and that I put a little zip tie on there, and so I don't count the same link twice. Count every link so I know that the chain I'm replacing it with, I've got enough links before I cut this chain off. Also, I want to verify that the thickness, a 530 chain is wider, a 520 is thinner. The chain on an MT-09 is a 525. 55 links, 525. So step one is, there's a little mark on this. I don't know if you can see it, or if it's right there is a little mark. That's to line up the quick shifter. We do have to take the quick shifter off, and then we're going to take that side cover off. That's going to expose an area where the grease usually accumulates, and we want to clean that up before we take the old chain off. Now if you don't have a quick shifter, well, I guess this would be a little different. This is an accessory quick shifter, and I've got to be real careful about a wrench just fits in there. I don't want to scratch anything up. And that bolt will come out, and we can just slide the quick shifter off. Now with the quick shifter out of the way, we can loosen these two bolts, and that takes that, will allow that cover to come off, and then we can clean that whole area. Now a lot of people, honestly, you know, from time to time I've done it too, just replace the chain without cleaning this, but I think it's always a good investment to spend the time, and it's really not that big of a deal if you're going to spend a day working on a bike. And it always seems like there's some shortcuts that may not be worth it in the long run. Well, I like to clean this as often as I can. Now there is a third bolt under the hoses. You have to get that off, of course, or good luck getting this off, you'll break it. Anyway, there's 3 bolts total. They all come off with the same Allen wrench. Very easy. And the cover is off. Now if you look inside, you can see we're going to clean this all up. Ordinary diesel fuel will be fine. I'm going to set up a little towel that I can just let that drip onto. And all these are the little rubber grommets. Don't lose any of them. Don't let any of them slip off. And when this goes back on, those hoses have to get routed right through there. So it's a real easy to get this off. And to be able to clean that up in there, it's definitely worth it to me. Now this area here is always a mess, no matter what bike you have. I like to clean it up. It also lets me check the wear on the countershaft sprocket, and there's no hooking on that, so that's good. 17,000 miles, the sprockets should be fine. And some people suggest changing the sprockets and the chain at the same time. Well, it's not going to hurt anything, but this, I don't like to replace things that aren't worn out yet. This looks pretty good. So I'm getting in here with a stick, ordinary diesel fuel, and some compressed air. Clean that up as best I can. Spray some on the cover. And getting these parts clean is a big part of this job. Now, sometimes this one is really not too dirty, but sometimes I've taken these off if a bike hasn't been done, if you haven't cleaned this and the chain has been changed a few times. Now, you might be thinking, well, most people recommend changing the chain, most manufacturers, at 15,000 or even before. This is 17. I know people that go to 20. And it depends on how you maintain the chain and the quality of the chain, among other things. But in this case, 17,000, this was already starting to make a little bit of a funny noise. And all you have to do is when you're pulling up to a light, pull the clutch in. And if you have a chain with more than 15,000, you'll hear a funny little noise. And that's your indication. Might be time for a chain. And this is a Regina chain that I got from Vlad, motoworld.com. And it's a Regina chain. These are usually pretty good quality. Cleaning up this cover is really a little bit of extra work, but I think it's worth it. Get rid of, I don't want the new chain to go down in there until with all this goop in there. It's worth a few minutes to do it right. You can see all the goop that came out of there. It's relatively clean now. We're ready to take care of business here. That cleaned up, the side cover cleaned up. And the next step on this, we want to put the bike in gear, and then I want to cut the chain. I'm going to grind off one of the plates just to make pulling a pin out. I only need to pull one pin out to make it a little bit easier. Now I keep all my chain braking and chain replacement stuff in one bucket. And this is a Motion Pro chain breaker, chain swedging tool. The instructions on this are excellent, but I'm going to try to show, at least give some idea of how I do it. Now this is just a spare link and I wanted to show this. You could take the chain breaking tool and press that pin out, but it puts a lot of extra work into the job, and there's really no reason to do it. If you have a grinder, I happen to have a grinder, you can grind off. If you grind off one of those pins flat, you can push the pin out with a lot less effort. Just makes it a little bit easier. Now, of course, you can do this a lot of different ways, and some people, I have seen people just cut the chain right off and put the new chain on. Yeah, it makes it a little bit easier if you can use the original chain to thread it through. That's what we're going to try to do. So now the bike is in gear. That'll hold the chain steady while we do the grinding operation, and I got a rag just to protect the back wheel from some of the little hot sparks. Now that will just make pushing the pin out that much easier. And this is how you set the tool up. As you tighten this pin is going to push in and push the pin right out the other side. And you could do this without grinding the link, but you just put a necessary strain on a tool. Another thing I remember when I bought the tool, I had bought a real cheap one, a $29 one. This one has stood the test of time. And as you can tell, you ride a lot, you're going to wind up putting a lot of chains on the bike. Now usually this will take a little bit of patience, and I guess there's other ways to do this, but sooner or later you hit a pin, you feel a pin kind of pop, and then you know you can just push it out the rest of the way. Okay, so we press the pin out. It's somewhere on the floor, and now we just got to remove the tool. And one pin is out, and we could break that link. Now, it's real handy now that we hit the other part of the chain. We can hook on here and just thread it right through. And this will just guide it through. But the first thing we have to do is loosen the swing arm and move it as far forward as possible. That makes it a lot easier, because otherwise we're going to get to the point where we're up here, and the chain because this chain is going to has already stretched. The swing arm is further back, and then we'll readjust the swing arm at the end of it. Now once that bolt is loosened, then we can just let this axle go as far forward as possible. Okay, once we get this axle loose, we'll be ready. That's got to be free. We can slide this as far forward as possible. Now, the old chain is just conveniently threading this right through, right onto the sprocket. And at the very end, the two links should marry up. If they don't, the chain is either too long or too short. But in this case, we ordered the exact right amount of links. Or if you buy a chain that's model specific, you don't have to deal with that. And then we can just get rid of, right now, the old chain. Now, once I take the fake link off, this is not the one we're going to use, I can see I got, luckily, if the chain is exactly the right one, and that's always a good idea to check that. Now I need to get the new replacement link, make sure the O-rings are in exactly the right spot and that they have plenty of grease on them, and get that part pressed in, and that's the biggest part of the job is over. Now, something I like to do, and it's not necessary, it just makes it easier for me, is I put a couple of zip ties on this because, again, the swing arm is loose. We're as far forward as we can go. And this is just going to make it that if we walk away from the tool, it's not going to come off the sprocket, and then I have to thread, and sometimes it can be so messy with this grease. This REGINA grease is really some sticky stuff. Anyway, that's just a little thing I do. Now, I got to make sure I have the O-rings on both sides, and you have two choices. They have a clip one, which I don't like. I would rather have the one that with part of the Motion Pro tool, it puts that little pinch on the end of it. And that's really, the Motion Pro tool really does that very, very easily. I'm not sure I can really show this, but this is the old worn out chain, 17,000 plus miles. You can see there are tight links. This is relatively no wear on it. That link there is almost like a brand new link. But here's what happens if you check them. You'll come across some that are really loose, and some of them, wow, some of them, there's a lot of play in them. So there's nothing you can do about it. Chains don't wear exactly evenly. There's a link that's really almost stiff, and that's why every time you lube the chain, you should always check. Once a chain gets tight spots and loose spots, time to replace it. Now, I'm not really sure I can show this. Let me show it with a raw O-ring. There's a little, let's see if we get it focused in here. That little detent, that has to go that way. If you put them in backwards, it's not really the right way to do it. Now, what that does, that lines up with the other side of the chain. So that has to go in. Now, they do give you these that you can use to set the clearance of. I haven't found that necessary because I do mine with a micrometer. And you need to have an O-ring, obviously, on the other side. But this side now is ready to press in. Then we'll put the two O-rings in, again, in the correct way. Put this plate in, and then the next step is to press that plate in. And there's a special attachment for the tool that does that. I'll show that. It's the part that has to go in there, and that sets up the tool. Now you can press that plate on. All that tool does is just press the plate on, and you have to make sure the two pins on the opposite links of the chain are in those grooves. Now, once that's pressed on, it's this dimension that's critical. Now, you could use those little springs that they give you. I don't know, I'm not crazy about that way of doing it. But what I do, I get a micrometer and measure this, and get this as accurate as possible. I don't want to overpress it, because what happens is you crush the O-rings, and if you leave it loose, now the last thing is we're going to dimple this. There's another part of the tool that's made just for this purpose, to put a dimple on that. And that's the part that gets screwed up against it. This holds the back, and that puts a nice dimple on it. And then the final thing, we'll double check with a micrometer. We got the right thickness on the chain. And a dimpling tool, pretty self-explanatory. You have to do each side separately, and that chain is installed. Now, next step, a normal chain adjustment. I'm going to move that back. Of course, check the notches. Make sure we have an inch of play, and we'll be ready to put the side cover back on. Okay, the chain is adjusted. All we need to do is tighten this up, put that side cover on. Now, I'm just making sure I don't have any tight spots, anything funky. That's the right amount of play. We're in pretty good shape. Side cover next. Now, of course, what's important, I don't want to disturb that wiring too much. I want to capture all these tubes in here. And for sure, getting the first bolt, the one that's hidden by the hoses, be a good idea to get that one in. Get that torque down first. But Then setting up the quick shifter with that little notch, kind of self-explanatory. That is one final step. I try to wipe some of this excess grease off, even though it's almost a hopeless case. I don't want to use any diesel fuel, just using up some old rags, because it all winds up on the back wheel after the first ride or two, and there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. So you just got to bite the bullet. But get some of it, or I don't know how much of it you can really get off. This is really some sticky grease. Anyway, this whole job, I don't know what they charge in a motorcycle dealer, but I don't think there's any part of this job that an average motorcyclist can't do himself. Save the money, take the pride in doing it, and at the end of it, at least you know the job's done right. Well, it was a pretty straightforward job. I don't think that, again, there's any part of that that's a real high-tech thing. But again, when you consider what motorcycle dealers charge for labor, and sometimes they do the job and it's not exactly what you want. I'm real happy with this. I hope I haven't left out any steps, and I apologize to the people that say the videos are too long, but it's more important to me not to leave out any steps. And on my humble motorcycle collection, there's always some maintenance to do, and we try to keep up with the maintenance. And these bikes, especially the older ones that I've had for a long time, and even the new ones, keeping them up right up to snuff is one of my passions of motorcycling. And it wasn't that long ago that we had a rusted out chain with some tight links and some loose links, and we're good now, probably for another 17,500. I'm hoping that, as always, we get a lot of riding days. I love to wear things out. I love to wear tires out, chains. I know that I've gotten some good exercise. So I hope you did enjoy the video. Now, if you're new to our channel, we have a very, very eclectic channel. One of the new features we have now is some of the videos are grouped into groups that you can access all the videos for one category in one mouse click. And it should be very convenient and very handy. Just check out the feature on the main screen playlist. And thanks to everybody for supporting the channel. We appreciate your support, and it makes this channel possible with all the things we do, the painting, the wheels, the polishing. And please take a second or two and hit the like button. And thanks everyone for watching.